welcome our esteemed domestic and global investors and other stakeholders, and of course, the Lagos team to this investors presentation with Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, the charismatic and transformative visionary of Greater Lagos Rising, on the issuance of Green Bond Series 3 of about 14.8 billion, and of course, the conventional bond Series 4 of up to 200 billion naira. It is always a privilege to stand before the brilliant minds that believe in the leadership and strategic direction of Lagos by collaborating and partnering with the state over the years, providing financial support, financial resources, and strength to Lagos State story.
And every single time that Lagos State issues in Nigeria's capital markets, it makes history. Over the last 17 years alone, Lagos has issued in dollar equivalent more than $3.1 billion of bonds in Nigeria's capital markets. But that's not the story in itself. It has repaid more than half of those bonds, and it continues to service the outstanding bonds regularly and promptly. And that is why every time we call upon you, each and every one of you turns up without fail. But this time, we call upon you to work with us to do something that has never been done in the history of these markets. And only 3 times have issuers passed 100 billion issuing bonds in our markets. One of them is here present, Access Bank. MTN is the other, and Dangote. But it speaks to the way that Lagos State's credit story is regarded, and the way that Lagos is first among equals among the subnationals, not only in this country, but on this continent. That we feel confident pushing the envelope and asking the investing markets to work with us to raise 200 billion naira of capital. It will be a big first for Lagos. It will be a big first for subnationals in Nigeria, and it will also be the largest ever bond issuance by a subnational on this continent. And if this is going to be done, it should be done by Lagos. But the other more significant thing is that Lagos is marking another first. And that first is by issuing the first sustainable bond by a subnational in this country. And yet again, well done to Team Lagos.
So we're doing Series 2 green bonds and Series 4, bond issuance, under some of these things. And I would honestly speak to the challenges that we have, And so when BB said that we're raising the bar and we're breaking records, believe me, these are no records again. Because even before we raise this money, Roosevelt was with me the other day, it's been spent. It's not close to what we require at all. And all of us need to be very critical about this and look at your own balance sheet 4-5 years ago and where it is now. And so if you can extrapolate and see the volume of business, the numbers you are doing, post-COVID from 2019 now to 2025, how you have tripled and you have quadrupled whatever numbers in all of these spheres, right? It speaks that even for us in the private, on the public sector side, we need to do 10 times because we're 5-8 times behind schedule. Am I communicating? We're right behind schedule. All of our infrastructure, each year on year, we said we need to do, some numbers that we are actually running behind schedule. Now add the challenges of the reality of the numbers and the figures we're dealing with now, and to have everything we have to be repriced. So when they said that we're doing 3 trillion, so we'll see it in dollar terms. How much is that? So it's like going back to where we were in 2019 or 2020. So indeed, if we live here believing that the budget of Lagos by next year should be about 8 to 10 trillion, then we're beginning to talk. If you now see that the entire series of 1 trillion should be what this market should be able to help us raise at once, then we're talking. Because that's what I want us to live here with. Mrs. Sanusi, no, we're not. We're not at all. The cost to complete, the red line rail, which was started from 100 to 100 billion, now it's going to over 450 billion. The logistics stuff that we're doing at less than 100 billion, now is getting up to like 300 billion. This man has 15 schools all at once. When we started, that man in schools, when we started, all of those schools were doing at 800, 900. Each one of them now is costing 2.3, 2.4 billion. We're doing 33 all at once. For him, we'll be commissioning one day. So for me, it's really not even about the presentation. It's not about the numbers. It's really about the quantum of the opportunity that is available that this state needs to move on to. So for me, in my head, this 200 billion, we spent it first quarter. So I was telling Ope George now, the commissioner for budget, that so what are we trying to do next year? If we're still moving 4-5% of what we've done or what we're doing this year, then we're in real terms growth. No, we haven't. We're flat. In fact, it's negative. By the time we put, inflation there, you put the cost of funding, we saw everything. We're just starting. It's 2 steps, 4 steps back. So I don't want each one of us to think that it's hooray and it's fantastic and we're doing the job well. No, we're just starting. So that's why I want to leave them to explain to us that each one of us, we still have a lot of work to do. And I want all of you to, to live here believing that we actually have the capacity to do 10 times more than we are doing right now. And it's in all spheres. Our revenue is doing over 100 billion now. We can do 250 billion on IGR. This government, we came in, we're celebrating. See, we had celebrated 5 billion IGR before. We had clapped to ourselves when we're doing 15 billion, 20 billion. Now we're doing 120, we don't even see it. So what we need to do is to ask ourselves, what are those verticals? What are those structures that needs to be in place for the people, for the systems to believe that we're ready to take on those numbers?